again.
I think memes would be cooler if we pronounced them memes.
I'm tired of everyone calling me a meme. What even is a meme? Is that some sort of brain tumor?
It's hard to pin down a specific definition, but like the absolute essence is there's an image and there are some words, and usually it's funny.
Meme. Internet memes.
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 Meme.
Memes.
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 Meme appetit.
That would be a good meme.
Memes have gone from being a word you weren't really sure how to pronounce to the bewitching lure that gets us onto Facebook every morning.
So that's a bad meme.
There's some cringy shit, man.
Show me, what do you got? Is it like Rage comics?
Yeah, a lot of Rage
What
comics.
a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like
There's a lot of image macros. Bad Luck Brian. Remember that?
I think today we're going to do just a special little meme, and I think you're going to like it a lot.
What is a meme? This is an idea and a question that has been kicking around in my brain for a really long time. I mean, we look at them all day. They're everywhere, being created and spread with varying degrees of success by corporations, meme accounts, governments, your Aunt Linda, foreign and domestic agents wanting to influence elections, churches, grocery stores, someone's 10th grade biology class trying to figure out remote learning, and even us, the people, the consumers, the patrons. We should have some understanding of what they actually are and how they're being used. As I start to put definition and boundary on what a meme really is, the whole thing just gets slippery and hard to contain. Is it just funny images with text? What about TikToks and YouTube videos? I feel like those have just as much validity being defined as a meme as Bad Luck Brian and the ilk. On top of that, there's something just fascinatingly unfunny that comes from someone attempting to verbally describe a meme.
This is inspired by a John Mulaney skit. You're in a car with your children.
The storyteller just wants to share the lulls with somebody else in conversation.
You see a McDonald's sign and the kids are screaming, McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. And then there's three options. You can either say, we've got food at home, and refuse.
But it's almost always ruined in the translation.
You can also get excited and take the kids to McDonald's. Or you can do the power move of pulling in, ordering a single black coffee and leaving.
I was talking with my partner about that phenomenon, and she had the idea for me to do just that, verbally describe memes. It was that idea and this difficulty to describe something that was so integral to our lives that spurred my interest to create this podcast. What is a meme? What are the constituent parts of a meme? And what does a meme need to be successful? Where did memes come from? Are there any historic memes? What role do memes fill in our modern society? Are we shaping the memes, or are the memes shaping us?
You don't necessarily have to take memes seriously, but to be serious, we have a daily craving for things that are just so dumb that, you know, it leaves you with the feeling, I laughed a little harder than I should have. I think it's an escapism.
Meme review.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Verbally Described Memes. Today, we're going to wrestle with what a meme is exactly. To find the answer to our first and ultimately largest question, what a meme is, I decided to check out a local print shop turned gallery that opened up a meme museum. All across my social media, I was seeing a ton of press and buzz about it.
943, do you know what the term meme means? Well, now there's a whole museum dedicated to this.
Let's check in with Marcella. She's at the Meme Museum. Hey, Marcella.
Meme, M-E-M-E. Hi, guys. COVID has really brought out so many different kinds of memes because people are bored or they need a good laugh. And so we're in Humboldt Park now at the Meme Museum, which gives you just that. Okay, so check this out. They have walls and walls and walls of memes. I like this one a lot. Me in other people's houses versus me in my house.
And as coronavirus restrictions were not as strict as they are now in late 2020, I figured I'd shoot my shot and reach out for an interview. Owner and co-founder Renee Costa was more than happy to have me come through, so we scheduled a time for me to come in and check it out. Once I arrived, masked up with my microphone, I went right in. Turns out that they were double booked that day, so I had to work around a Univision interview.
Bienvenidos a la Casa del Meme, porque ellos también tienen su museo en Humboldt Park.
Toda la gente que va entrando está bien sorprendida porque no saben qué esperar cuando escuchan Museo de Meme.
This is great. There's so many formats I haven't seen before. It's actually like a really, really fun curation. It's not just all the standard templates.
I took some time to check out the exhibit myself. There were printouts of memes pinned all over, with about 20 or so people navigating the maze of memes while trying to stay socially distant.
The dog emoji, and then the next text says, "Max, come here, boy. Don't bother the beautiful girl." And it's in a tweet saying the worst DM I've ever gotten.
There were a few custom pieces of work scattered about the space, including a fiberglass reproduction of the webcomic artist Casey Green's "This Is Fine" dog, a neon sign that said "Life is but a meme," and a graffiti mural adorned with paintings of Michael Jordan crying, Trollface, Pepe the Frog, SpongeBob, and Baby Yoda, all centered around the name of the gallery, Sixth Dimension Space. Walking around, I asked some of the other visitors for their opinion on my question.
Something that you guys want to talk about, that'd be fantastic. But if not,
I'm socially adept, so I don't know.
I mean, I love them. I think they're hilarious, but I have nothing profound to say about them.
No, that's totally fine, and that's what I'm looking for.
You know, when one person in the culture looks at it, everybody knows what it means. What I like are the ones that have the recurring themes, like we were talking about the trio, you know, the guy and the girl looking up at the girl. What's funny about it is just like the variations that come up on it.
Yeah.
You know.
My name is Stephanie. I don't know. I like dark humor memes, but that's all I look at. I don't really make any memes. The more depressed they sound, the probably the funny ones they are. So that has to do with dark humor.
You know, I don't remember the first meme that I had seen, but I remember when I first came across the word meme.
Yeah.
And thinking that's really a misuse of the word, because a meme, the original use of the word, is something that means that has really entered the social zeitgeist. You know, the first time it comes up, it's called a meme, and I'm thinking, well, that's not really what a meme is.
Right.
But obviously, the whole meme of memes is now a meme. So it's basically a cartoon. You know, it's visual, it's an image with a punchline with a caption that we find funny. It's in the juxtaposition of the image and the words is, I think, what's striking. So it's like watching cartoons that go up on my Facebook feed all the time.
Right. I apologize, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Wesley. What's your name?
Sandy.
Sandy, nice to meet you. I'm Mark. Mark, nice to meet you as well. Thank you for your response. I really appreciate that.
You saying your podcast is?
Yeah, it's going to be called Verbally Described Memes. Right now I'm building episodes, doing a lot of writing.
My name is Renee Costa.
He and his partner Nancy turned their new print shop into the Meme Museum.
And my partner's name is Nancy Calderon. Okay. So I was like, I'm not gonna open a regular print shop. What's gonna get people in here?
Right.
What's gonna bring in foot traffic? Just thought memes are relatable. People love memes.
Right.
So I was like, this is perfect. This will bring people in because they could relate to it. People are gonna be having fun and laughing, and we can sell some meme merch because we print shirts,
Right.
And stuff like that. So yeah, so far everyone's been enjoying it, and this is A lot of people were coming up to us and they were like, yeah, I was having a bad day, but I came in here and you guys made my day. So my definition of a meme is anything that happened in your life that you can kind of make fun of in a way related to something else, like an image, a video, a screenshot, like anything like that, such as like you dropped, a notebook in school, someone farted in class, like things like that. And that's kind of how it started, It's just things that are relatable that you can make fun of using like other pictures or things that are, unrelated to it, like a movie. So that's actually a thing that memes kind of brought upon a lot of people, is that a lot of people didn't realize that things that happened to one person actually happened to a lot of people. So, and I also learned that a lot because then when I see this meme, I was like, wait, this meme is talking to me, but why is all these other people also laughing at it?
Right.
And then that's how I picked up as well.
Yeah, it's so funny. So what is your background with memes?
I really don't have any like artistic cool background with memes. Like, to be honest, like I never even made a meme. I had ideas before of making memes, like, I think this would be a funny meme, but I never executed that. It was nice talking to you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course. Honestly, good job. This looks really nice.
After leaving the meme museum, my head was buzzing with thoughts and questions. Were slogans like, "Where's the beef?" memes? What did Sandy mean by meme being a misuse of the word? How long was my fly down while I was there? I was so focused on socially distancing, I only realized when I got into my car. Were people looking at me because I was walking around with a microphone? Or because my fly was down? Is walking around with your fly down a meme? I needed to get some answers, so I turned to the boundless supply of knowledge, the internet. After a quick search, I found a couple different answers for my question. What is a meme?
According to the hipsters from the Urban Dictionary, a meme, it's a popular quote, image, or maybe real people. They're copied, imitated, and then spread all over the internet.
An idea, behavior, or style that becomes a fad and spreads by means of imitation from person to person within a culture and often carries symbolic meaning representing a particular phenomenon or theme.
A humorous image, video, piece of text, etc., that is copied, often with slight variations, and spread rapidly by internet users.
From the Greek, mimema, or that which is imitated.
And while memes were originally described as an element of culture passed from one individual to another by non-genetic means, if we look now at their contemporary use, I think it would be much more accurate to define them as an element of culture passed from one individual to another through the internet. The last part being redundant because if you're passing memes to someone, you're obviously not going to be passing anything on to them genetically.
In that last clip from Casually Explain's YouTube video on the concept, I think that is the most encompassing definition that I can find. An element of culture passed by non-genetic means. No matter if you're reading a slogan on a billboard or scrolling through memes on your smartphone, that's all information and elements of culture passed through non-genetic means. It's a definition, but it's still so vague and all-encompassing. I feel like in modern usage, internet memes have spun a certain direction.
Some memes, they don't require any image, audio, or even a video to go viral. A short string of text can also become a meme.
What is meant by an element of culture? Is our culture then an amalgamation of memes? Where did this come from? Who was the first to coin the phrase meme? And what were they using it for?
Do we have to go to distant worlds to find other kinds of replicator and other consequent kinds of evolution? I think that a new kind of replicator has recently emerged on this very planet. It is staring us in the face.
Turns out it was British evolutionary biologist and author Richard Dawkins. Here he is reading from a passage of his revolutionary 1976 book, The Selfish Gene.
It is achieving evolutionary change at a rate which leaves the old gene panting far behind. The whole point about the selfish gene was all about natural selection at the level of genes, becoming more numerous in the gene pool, more numerous in the population. I wanted to make the point at the end of the book that genes are not the only possible replicator that could serve as a unit of natural selection. So instead I used cultural viruses. I actually called them mind viruses, and then said I want a noun that sounds a bit like gene, and so coined meme. If you take something like a really important cultural invention, like the wheel or fire, something like that. Once that had been invented, it would have spread as a meme and would certainly have contributed to survival of civilizations and individuals and to the survival of the meme itself. Memes are competing for brain space or something like that. Susan Blackmore has actually suggested that it has changed the way our brains are.
Susan Blackmore is another British writer and academic, author of the book The Meme Machine, and arguably is the most notable in the field of study that was created out of Dawkins' coining of the word meme, memetics, the scientific study of evolutionary models in the lens of cultural information transfer.
Once people started to imitate each other, then you would acquire status by being good at imitating. I mean, if you were the one who could light the fire or keep the fire going, you would acquire status, probably better mates, and pass on whatever genes you had for that ability.
There's a kind of co-evolution between genes and memes.
This is my argument for how we got such huge brains.
This is a big idea, that memes might have evolved in parallel with our genes to give humans big brains, big enough to make lolcats and do planking, big enough today perhaps to filter out and disregard irrelevant, annoying or unhelpful memes.
It's a revolutionary way of looking at it because one naturally thinks of it as a competition between people. But just as I changed that in the biological world to a competition between genes, I suppose I'm trying to do the same thing at the level of memes.
Dor King is an OG dank memer. I think it's fantastic that the insightful man who wrote The God Delusion also created the ultimate downfall of humanity. The dank meme.
Back in 1976, I compared the spread of a meme to the spread of a virus. And I even referred to certain ideas, such as religious ideas, as viruses of the mind. Memes do the same as genes, only by different routes. And they potentially survive bodily death just as genes do. If you contribute to the world's culture through memes, they may live on intact long after your genes have dissolved in the common pool. But the very idea of the meme has itself mutated and evolved in a new direction. An internet meme is a hijacking of the original idea. Instead of mutating by random chance before spreading by a form of Darwinian selection, internet memes are altered deliberately by human creativity. In the hijacked version, mutations are designed, not random, with the full knowledge of the person doing the mutating. In some cases, this can take the form of genuinely creative art. But now that I think about it, mightn't somebody argue that all creative art comes about through something like a mutation in the mind? As for me, I'd rather spread memes than genes anyway.
Well, the internet versions are like funny photos or little videos, but the analog version is like Kilroy was here.
What about Keep on Trucking?
Yeah. Where's the beef?
Exactly. What are you guys talking about? No, a meme is like a picture of a cat that says stupid things, like I can have cheeseburger or Salt Bay.
Right. Oh, Salt Bay. That's so funny. Whatever. It's like...
So I actually feel pretty well equipped now to talk about this. Meme, as a term, was created to inspect culture via Darwinian evolution, and now, due to the near instantaneous evolution and spread of culture through the internet memes have splintered off from the original concept. Taking a look at my second question I had in the beginning, what are the constituent parts of a meme, and what does a meme need to be successful? Susan Blackmore takes that on in her book, The Meme Machine, and she describes it here on the TED stage in 2008.
Memetics is founded on the principle of universal Darwinism. The principle is you just need those three things: variation, selection, and heredity. And as Dan Dennett puts it, if you have those, then you must get evolution. Information that we copy from person to person by imitation, by language, by talking, by telling stories, by wearing clothes, by doing things. This is information copied with variation and selection. This is design process going on. So he took the Greek word mimeme, which means that which is imitated. A meme is not equivalent to an idea, it's not an idea, it's not equivalent to anything else really. Stick with the definition. It's that which is imitated, or information which is copied from person to person. If you copied it from someone else, it's a meme. The way to think about memes, though, is to think, why do they spread? They're selfish information. They will get copied if they can. But some of them will be copied because they're good or true or useful or beautiful. Some of them will be copied even though they're not. Some, it's quite hard to tell why. So think of it this way. Imagine a world full of brains and far more memes than can possibly find homes. They're using you and me as their propagating, copying machinery. And we are the meme machines. Now, why is this important? Why is this useful, or what does it tell us? It gives us a completely new view of human origins and what it means to be human. All other theories explaining the big brain and language and tool use and all these things that make us unique are based upon genes. The point of memetics is to say, oh no, it doesn't. So you get an arms race between the genes which are trying to get the humans to have small economical brains and not waste their time copying all this stuff, and the memes themselves, like the sounds that people made and copied. In other words, what turned out to be language, competing to get the brains to get bigger and bigger. So the big brain on this theory is driven by the memes. This is why in the meme machine, I called it memetic drive. As the memes evolve, as they inevitably must, they drive a bigger brain that is better at copying the memes that are doing the driving. This is why we've ended up with such peculiar brains, that we like religion and music and art. Language is a parasite that we've adapted to, not something that was there originally for our genes, on this view.
Memes, elements of our culture, have variation. They can be selected upon their usefulness, efficiency, and beauty, and be passed on through generations via heredity. I feel like we need to take a granular step, and rather than jump right to internet memes, we should look at advertisements, jingles, slogans, earworms, billboards. The full force of capitalism was thrown behind the development of viral memes in order to sway the purchasing power of the people. In a section from BBC 4's documentary, How to Go Viral, The Art of the Meme, they talk with someone who's able to comment on what tools advertisement agencies have used to create successful memes.
Robin White is an advertising legend. He knows.
When Richard Dawkins invented the concept of memes in the mid-70s, he was explaining what ad men had been practicing intuitively. The idea of jingles, the idea of slogans. People had found out by trial and error that some things worked better than others. This was, if you like, an evolutionary battle which the strongest memes won. You remember a jingle, a brand, and a slogan even after the brand is dead.
Can you give me an example from your career of something that really stuck and what made it sticky?
We were given 118, and we knew there could be lots of other brands all starting with 118. How could we make ours stand out? Well, we're helped by the numbers. So first of all, twinning is an iconic concept inside Castor and Pollux. We know twins are already special. So we made our brand characters echoing the 118. And then we made them memorable. We put moustaches on them. We made them iconic. We made them runners. We used some other memetic tricks. Repetition. Got your number, got your number, got your number, got your number. Then we used Rocky, the music of Rocky. We borrowed iconography. So a lot of memetics, just adding all sorts of layers and symbolism to the core brand proposition.
But what about internet memes? How do we measure whether or not your funny tweet is going to captivate the masses and go viral? Successful memes leverage humor to build connection, use symbolism, layers of meaning, repetition, and cultural references, like other previous successful memes and formats. Internet memes also tap into our human need for connection, to feel seen and accepted by a community.
The bandwagon effect. The more people adopt an idea or belief, the more likely others will too. Simply having a sense that many people support an opinion or think a video is funny can cause others to retweet again and again. To be honest, this isn't something that a lot of people have studied. Really, the only thing newer than the internet is taking the internet seriously enough to publish a peer-reviewed study about it. But when it comes down to it, sharing on the internet is a lot like other kinds of social sharing.
As with genes, we can expect the world to become filled with memes that are good at the art of getting themselves copied from brain to brain, or blog to blog.
We'll start, as we always do, with our base image. Now, I've got several to choose from here, and in your meme, you can pick anyone you like. Anyone you like. It's up to you. Ooh, look at that one. That is a beauty. Some all-powerful memes here.
What about my third question? Where do memes come from, and are there historic memes? From the interviews and lectures we've heard so far, the first half of the question seems to be a lot trickier than any other question I had. If we're to prescribe to Susan Blackmore's big brain theory, that memes and copying those we saw around us drove the increase in brain size necessary for our survival, then memes may have come from our genes. And what do we do with the knowledge that other animals have mimetic behavior like imitation? Does that then mean that there are animal cultures? Do all biologic things that imitate other biologic things live under the influence of two distinct replicators, memes and genes? I don't know. But the second half of the question, that's more my wheelhouse. There are, in fact, historic memes that can be seen as similar to the internet memes of today.
Soldiers scrawled this face, and Kilroy was here all around the world. The joke was that Kilroy, peeking out, had been everywhere before the GIs got there. Everywhere soldiers went, seeing unfamiliar landmarks and reading signs in languages they couldn't speak, they graffitied the same picture and signed the same name on every available surface. He was a joke, but he was also a kind of assurance, a hero who'd been there before and still made it out okay. We don't really know where Kilroy came from. The pictures showed up around the
Kilroy was a great early meme, and very true to the classical definition of to be imitated. It spread virally during World War II by the hands of American GIs abroad, and it's considered to be derived from another graffiti from another world war. Australian GIs sketched out a very similar-looking bald-headed man peeking over a fence with the text, "Foo was here." It's thought that FOO is an acronym for Forward Observation Officer. If this is true, then by the addition of the doodle to the original military markings, it's now a meme and gets riffed on, further removing it from its origins decades later. Memes are intrinsic to our culture, as our culture that exists today is comprised of stitched-together memes. Round wheels allow for easy transport. Ornamentation yields a high probability of securing a mate. All of this behavior that was virally spread through communities that then, in turn, shaped future evolutions of those concepts.
It looks as if we're pretty stupid. We're just walking, breathing vectors that are carrying all these memes around in our heads.
Daniel Dennett is an American philosopher who studies memetics as well.
Sort of like having a cold, like viruses. And they are like viruses. And the first memes were even more like viruses because they weren't particularly useful. They were just habits that were catchy in one way or another, and they spread or not. And they didn't have to do any good. They just had to be not too harmful.
So, fourth question. What role do memes fill in our modern society?
So at the moment, to be honest, I think memes serve as like an outlet to kind of like either see a bad experience that you had before and kind of like just finally make fun of it because now you have to get over it, or actual funny things that happened before, just bring it up and have, you know, a good like kind of like reminiscence of like how that was and everything. So to me, like memes is just a form of entertainment. And, you know, even though there's a lot of people that like hate just like being on Facebook because it wastes a lot of time, there's a lot of meme addicts, you know, that's for sure. You know, I've noticed after coming over here and opening this up that there's a lot of people that just 100% are in love with memes because, again, they're relatable, they're funny, and they're always about something that has happened to us or, you know, someone else. So it's pretty funny.
It's only very recently that we've had people who style themselves as meme creators, as designers of memes.
In the past, memes occurred naturally, and their influence was across the board. Mostly helpful, but some things came about and they didn't really have a logical reason to be replicated. This deviation from hyper-efficiency is what created the world we see today. So, what then do we have when memes are intentionally created, using a tool that allows for historically unparalleled distribution? The influence of the meme depends on the intentions of the person creating the meme, and the reception of the meme. It also depends on if and how the meme is replicated and modified. For example, if I wanted to create a funny meme because I'm seeking that sweet, sweet validation online, my intention is going to show through. In this case, it's an egotistical desire to try and make strangers laugh and in turn mutually benefit by receiving their praise.
Hey, this is a people-approved idea. Don't try to focus too much about how far it's going to go. Intent shows through, you know, especially if it doesn't deliver, then it's the worst case scenario, which is that it's the try-hard failing.
By stretching and modifying and remixing memes and pulling in more and more specific and obscure cultural references, we're finding camaraderie with an in-group. Or at least revealing connections that might not be immediately recognizable. Internet memes are, for the most part, people-created, people-approved, and people-shared media. But there's plenty of internet memes that were created with a different intention than getting us to laugh or trying to go viral.
It's something that's very common on the internet. I just don't think most people understand how it exactly works. We are going to be looking at how to make money with memes.
By featuring specific brands in their memes or by creating memes for a brand, there's a new age of advertisement on the internet. The profession of the influencer is an excellent example of this. Traditional advertising agencies in the past would be thrilled to have the reach that's available today via memes. Having the ability to put their product in front of the masses and influencers themselves wanting to grow their audience and become internet famous work hand in hand to fund the venture and grow revenue for the brand. Memes can also be a new revolutionary container for information. Because of their efficiency and difficulty to regulate, protest organizers, political revolutionaries, and governments themselves all have an eye on memes being shared online today.
Protesters have been expressing their thoughts and feelings through ways other than taking to the streets, through memes. There's been a whole bunch of them circulating online. Jason Lee has been keeping a close eye on them. He's a cartoonist and designer from Hong Kong.
I even found a thread in a forum in Hong Kong that was saying like, hey, we should use memes to attract foreign media. You know, we want more international eyes on this issue. And so they sort of remixed certain American memes. There's one that's like Disaster Girl, this little kid looking at this burning house and smiling in an evil way.
Yeah.
And using that to portray like our government not listening to the people.
So the protests over the extradition bill, the controversial extradition bill, that started at the end of March and then really heated up last month in June. Have the themes changed of the memes?
I've sort of identified roughly 3 to 4 different waves of memes. And so the beginning, I think, was more awareness raising and the cruelty of the government. And that morphed into, after the protests particularly on June 12th, became violent and the police were caught on camera attacking protesters and even journalists. So there were a lot of police violence memes. The latest wave I've caught, I think there's been recently a lot of self-care memes. So let's take care of each other in low moments.
Well, self-care seems important. I mean, certainly for the demonstrators. What else do you think memes add to this whole conversation? Why do you spend your time kind of watching them and compiling them?
I mean, first, they're funny. I think we all agree. Right. I think memes also really just show the inner state or inner lives or inner emotions of the protesters in a way that we wouldn't normally get from a journalist or from just normal reports. The two extremes of sadness and anger are pretty well displayed in these memes.
Pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong can be seen in viral videos and images using everyday objects in new ways to counter crowd control and riot police techniques, like using traffic cones to quickly neutralize tear gas, using umbrellas as a lightweight shield against rubber bullets, hockey sticks to slapshot canisters of gas back at the throwers, and leaf blowers to clear the air. All tools that have been recently seen in action on the other side of the globe in protests in the summer of 2020 in America in response to the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless other black lives through institutionally racist police forces. Memes have also been used as a method to disseminate information. On America's path towards racial justice and the liberation of black lives, memes have been shared by activists, abolitionists, and everyday people to spread new ideas and new viewpoints on things that may have gone overlooked due to an abundance of privilege.
Meet Talisha Wilson, a grassroots organizer from Kentucky who has been a local activist since she was in high school.
Yes.
How do you feel about the memes and the posts that have been circulating about Breonna Taylor?
I like the memes and posts because I think that they serve a purpose. The purpose, I think, is to reach people who it wouldn't reach unless you did it in that way.
So you like them? Like, you like some of these memes and posts?
Yes. Everything is a tactic. If I need to get more Generation Z people to pay attention to social justice as it pertains specifically to Breonna Taylor, then I'm going to go to TikTok. That's where they are.
However, there's an element of danger in how easy it is to share an infographic and signal that you're doing racial justice work without actually grappling with one's own racist tendencies or the ongoing police and prosecutorial injustice, as Feminista Jones talks about with Naomi Apirigan in a segment here from Full Frontal with Samantha B.
How are we going to arrest these cops that killed Breonna when people just want to post these watercolor paintings of her?
That's not going to happen. It's not going to get there posting a meme about the NBA schedule and then you swipe and then it says arrest the people that killed Breonna Taylor. That's not going to work. So why are you doing this?
Well, it may have seemed to people that their intention was in good faith when people spammed black squares on Instagram as a quote-unquote media blackout in a show of solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. This was actually a bad meme, as it effectively suppressed and silenced black voices. Memes as elements of culture can also be created by and for a specific community or group. This can heighten and amplify the discourse or give validity behind misinformation or lies through mass approval and sharing. If a viral meme is created with the intent to go viral and contains falsehoods, yet presents itself as informational, this can be massively powerful in swaying opinions and confirming biases that the reader may have already held. Often, this can be done with impunity, as the virality of a meme obfuscates the creator.
The U.S. Senate says, Russian trolls tried to convince African Americans not to vote in 2016. Russian Facebook pages and Instagram accounts look to stoke racial tensions.
The political nature of memes and memes as a political tool cannot be understated. Given that internet memes have been in full force for well over a decade at this point, anyone who cannot and will not adapt to the internet and internet memes are going to be left in the dust, evidenced in the 2020 congressional losses by House Democrats. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has recently hit on this.
And I believe that there are many areas that we can point at in centralized democratic operations that are extraordinarily weak. For example, our digital campaigning is very weak. And this is an area where Republicans are actually quite strong. You know, President Trump, he won the 2016 election, as we know, largely on digital organizing and strategy. And I believe that many Republicans were very effective at digital organizing and strategy as well, whereas the Democratic Party is still campaigning largely as though it's 2005. And I know a lot of us don't want to hear this, but 2005 was 15 years ago. Not a single member of Congress that I'm aware of campaigned on socialism or defunding the police in this general election. And these were largely slogans, or they were demands from activist groups that we saw in the largest uprising in American history around police brutality.
Given our position in a global pandemic and being socially distanced, information and misinformation spread rampantly, and it has the potential to be more impactful on human lives than ever before in history. It seems as though we're caught between the intentions of our fellow humans and the influence the memes that they create have.
Thanksgiving can look different this year. That's okay. It should. The biggest spread right now, we know, is actually happening in small group gatherings with people that you know, because people think it's safe, and it's not always, given how prevalent the disease is today. This is really serious.
Right. And God forbid we laugh at a meme on the internet. God forbid we have a chuckle about a meme on the internet.
It's fine, but people aren't taking these restrictions seriously, and people are dying every single day. I get the memes. It's just not the time to joke.
So, this all gets me back to my final question. Are we shaping the memes, or the memes shaping us? And to be honest, it's hard not to feel a bit bleak about the answer. We are the culmination of memes throughout time. We are intrinsically and potentially biologically designed through the arms race of genes and memes. So, of course, each person that creates a meme is doing so with an intent. Sometimes this intent is to influence the world that they see around them. And in the consumption of memes, we are having an incredible amount of information being filtered into our brain from untold sources and uncertain validity. The information that one person sees scrolling through their social media timeline can come from a myriad of sources, all with varying intents. I feel strongly that for the most part people are good, and want to make good memes. And if that's what you consume, you'll get more of it thanks to the algorithm. But if you find yourself motivated and activated by negative memes, as is our psychological conditioning to do so, you'll see more of that.
Although the internet can seem like a cesspool of negativity, the scientists actually found that articles that were emotionally positive were more likely to be shared than those that were emotionally negative. But an article that was very negative was more likely to be shared than one that was only mildly positive. So it wasn't just whether the emotion was positive or negative that mattered, it was also how arousing that emotion was.
So I, as with many people, consume funny, heartwarming, and informational content that is advancing the medium of internet memes by rapidly evolving and changing formats, because that's what arouses my interest. I do fear that with the competition for effectiveness of memes and the growing divides in specifically American culture, but also humankind globally, we're going to be left with insular communities sharing memes that confirm biases and tropes about other insular communities. This pits ourselves against one another for the sake of virality, for the sake of appealing to your in-group in an effort to receive praise, for the sake of turning your fellow humans into the quote-unquote other and laughing at their ways. I still remain hopeful about internet memes. Creator of the term Dawkins finishes out his book The Selfish Gene with the following passage.
We are built as gene machines and cultured as meme machines. We have the power to turn against our creators. We can rebel against the tyranny of the selfish replicators.
And with that, I think we have a finished meme. I think this meme is really something, and I hope it just makes you happy in your heart. So from all of us, I wish you happy memeing, and get good, my friend.
Everything that I've touched upon in this episode has only been skin deep. In trying to create a coherent episode covering the entire concept of what is a meme, I've had to distill it. In future episodes, I'll be turning my focus onto more granular aspects of memes, and internet culture. This episode was written and recorded by me, Wesley Lethem. Editing and production by Sound Service, which is also me. Story editing support by Savannah Jubik. Music and those robot voices I love so much are made available by Kevin MacLeod and filmmusic.io. Additional music by Snail's House. Full notes on this episode are available via a link in the show notes, including links to everything I mentioned today, a transcript, and all sources for content I included. Which, for this week, was a lot. A special thank you goes out to Renee and Nancy at 6th Dimension Space for letting me come in and bug you about memes. They just wrapped up a horror-themed pop-up, and I'm excited to see what's next for them. Be sure to stop in and check them out. Thank you to Sarah Snail, whose interview audio was also included in this episode. And a final thank you to everyone for listening. If you have the time, please take a moment to leave a rating or review, and tell a friend who you think might like this content. It would really mean the world to me. I'll see you again in 2 weeks with another episode, unless it runs long like this one, then I might need to touch more time.